Hello. Over the years, I've been asked what are the ingredients that go into my world famous veggie stew. That, as a long-term bachelor, I make a 6-quart pot of this and then microwave it all week with some cut up chicken. So here's a tour of the veggies. We have carrots and celery and coyote squash, which looks like this. This one actually has an end on it, so I'm actually going to go plant it and make a coyote squash vine. And the cut up parts of the stems of broccoli. And there's the rest of the broccoli. And zucchini. And this is a yellow version of cauliflower, portobello mushrooms, sweet potato, butternut squash, this cactus, which is really great because the cactus gives a little bit of a crunch, and the insides being very soft and full of fluids is sort of a crunch, and then a little bit of a refreshing fluid that happens too. This is a plantain or macho banana or platinos, which I cut in there. It gives up a little sweet. And that's whole peeled tomato that I've cut up as much as I can. The only spices I put in are minced garlic, black pepper, and paprika. I cook with coconut oil because it's the best oil, and it's the only one that, when it's heated, doesn't change its composition. This is I'll get back to that. That's red sweet pepper, 2 big onions, and jalapenos, and my little mind lapse, that's dill. And what I do is the dill doesn't go in until after it's been boiling a little bit, so that I can test how the spices are and adjust how hot it is, and then I'll put some dill in. That's my mother's magic ingredient. Being Russian type cooks, it always has dill. So that's a tour of the ingredients. It's going to go into this big pot here. It's a 6-quart. Used to be a slow cooker, but it works really well. It's Corelware, it works well over the flame. And that's it. I think that's it. And water. We'll add water up to the top so that it can boil. And that's it. All right, we're about ready to start cooking. First thing we're going to do, you notice I was on a stand here, on a stool, because I figured that out from a Chinese chef once. And you can get up here so you're not hunched over stuff, and you can really do this easy. So we're putting the onions in here. I just use this stuff just like I don't know what that is. X. And the next thing we'll do, once these break up a little bit, put pepper in. used to ask my mother, well, how much do you put in? She says, a pinch. Well, you just saw a pinch. And once these get going a little bit, being very careful at this point, like I am going to sneeze, because the minute that pepper hits, all of a sudden the air is filled with pepper. Do this, and I'm going to put the jalapenos in. And as soon as they get a little bit soft here, I'll put the red peppers in. I don't do them before I put water in. They don't do what they're supposed to. They don't get soft enough. And once these are well on the way, the next step is going to be to put in a bit of garlic. I use minced garlic because it's one less thing I have to cut up. After we finish this part, it's a lot easier to do this because there'll be liquid in there, and I'm not fighting burning the stuff on the bottom, so I have to keep it going. And then I don't know why I put this in, but I guess it does something for it. But I put in a bunch of paprika. That's a bunch. And then you start adding some of the other vegetables. Although at this point, that's the cauliflower. I think it just absorbs some of the stuff. And then the tomato. Great spatula. It gets everything out. And it's made of silicone, so it never burns. It wipes these really clean. And at this point, I can relax because nothing is going to burn since there's water in there. And start adding all the other ingredients. I never know when it always seems like I get way too much. And when that happens, we put the broccoli in early because the broccoli is going to get soft and make room for everything else. Forgot to mention there are carrots in here too. When I'm doing this without recording, I run water under all these plates that I've been using. But for right now, we're not going to bother with it. I think I overdid it. That's the zucchini. And this is going to be sweet potatoes. Now we have to be real gentle with this, so we don't end up with half of it on the floor. And you did that low just to make sure that nothing ended up on the floor, huh? Diligent son, cameraman, as my son Manuel is an expert at this stuff. And the last one is portobello mushrooms. So I guess this is what they call folding it in if it was dough. Carefully folding it in. A little bit more water. Oh, I really missed it. I cut it right in the shell so that we don't have to need to use another pot. It always amazes me how I don't measure any of this stuff yet. Somehow or another it all seems like that. And that's pretty much it. The only thing that I make sure I do is, see these jalapenos here? We want to shove them down inside because if they sit up on top, they're not going to keep contributing to the spice of this. And now we'll take some more water until it's about there. And now we're just going to let this come up to a boil and then take the reduce the flame to a point where it's just at a very low rolling boil, and let it sit until tasting the vegetables they're all at a good length of being soft. And that's it for now, and we'll come back later and see how it's going to sing. So hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye. It just started to boil, as you can see here. Where it's boiling, and we just turned down from way high to about medium flame, so we don't end up with this thing boiling over. And about now I'm going to take a little sample, making sure I don't get anything except the juice. And I don't know how to do this holding the camera in one hand, but so we have some here. And I just test to make sure that it's spicy enough. and it's pretty good. If it doesn't seem like it's spicy enough, I'll take some cayenne pepper, very little bit, in very small bits, and mix it in until it's where it should be spicy. And for me, I can tell it's spicy enough when I just feel a little bit of a tingling in the back of my throat as I sip the juices coming in. So now that I've done that, the next thing I'll do is I'm going to cut in some dill. And I don't quite know how I'm going to do this with one hand. You notice my guardian angel in the back there. Here's the dill. It's going to be interesting. There's the dill, and there's the scissor. And I'm going to chop off little pieces of this. This is fresh dill, available in our local markets all the time. In Southern California, we got plenty of this stuff, always. And there it is, sitting on top. And then I just take my spatula and push it down inside. I have to check the amount of hotness before the dill, because the dill is a fairly strong herb, and it's going to give a false reading on the hotness if I put it in before I check. And that's that for now, and it's going to look this way when it's done. So it's going to taste absolutely scrumptious. So there you go. That's how we make the Bachelor stew here.